It is a few days from the end of the year and normally a time when everyone's thoughts are on the future. But as I think about the book Wild Foods Field Guide and Cookbook by Billy Joe Tatum, my thoughts turn to the past. It is not just the fact that this book was written over 30 years ago, but also the fact that this book too looked to the past for its information and its inspiration. I was born a year after Tatum's book was written, so I missed the Back to the Land movement that was popular during that time. However, it seems like many people are again looking to the land. After years of declining interest, young people want to be farmers again. Herbal medicine schools have sprung up all over the country, and the natural building movement is huge. With the widespread use of GMOs, many people are worried about what their food is made of and where it is coming from. I often wonder, what did we eat before the institution known as the grocery store existed? Was the food better? Was the food healthier? Today, the grocery bill can be a very large expense. It can cost a lot of money to be able to eat healthy food, and the current state of stagnant wages has not helped. At some point, we stopped eating food we gathered ourselves and started buying and eating more packaged and processed food. This shift was probably helpful in many ways, but I think hurtful in others. I think we have gone a bit too far over to the processed side and are badly in need of a shift back to the middle. We need to make food affordable, but at the same time, it still needs to be real food. How do we do that? Where do we start? I don't know the answers, and I am not even close to an expert on this subject. But I would like to think that learning about wild foods, the food that grows just outside your door, is at least part of the solution. It is why I found this book very topical and still a valuable source of information. Wild Foods Field Guide and Cookbook is a book written to give people without any experience in the world of wild crafting and foraging a place to start. It is easy to understand and contains the general attitude that anyone can do this no matter where they live. Tatum gently invites the reader to see the world in a different way. It can be a bit scary to think about finding, picking, and eating some plant in the wild when you are used to food that has always been processed, washed, or that comes frozen in a box. Fresh vegetables even go through a process to remove dirt. If you want to give foraging a try, there is a large gap to cross before you can actually do it. The first part of the book goes through each of the 4 seasons of the year. Each season includes a list of what plants can be harvested, and a nice little description of what each season is all about in terms of wild food. Tatum really makes you feel the spring breeze and taste the fresh strawberries. The writing here is a bit on the mushy and poetic side, but I found myself loving it all the same. She really took me away and made me feel each season. Tatum tells the reader what each season means to her, and at the same time gives us an idea on how to think like a forager. Since we have foods available all year long, we have forgotten what grows in what season. This first section helps to reacquaint us with this idea. The book's 2 other parts are a detailed description of each plant and a large recipe section. The detailed description includes the Latin name and several of the common names of each plant, where to find it, what parts are used, how the parts are used, and a black and white drawing. Plants range from the well-known blackberry to the lesser-known butternut tree, maypop, and black haw. The 300-plus recipes give the reader lots of dishes to create with the plants that they have gathered. One thing to note is that these recipes are not all vegetarian or vegan, so for people following those diets, some tweaking may have to be done. As someone who spends half her time as a cashier at a grocery store and the other half while crafting medicinal herbs, I think about food a lot. Many of the herbs that I wildcraft can also be eaten as food. The step from wild herbs to wild foods is very short. Every day as I ring up customers, I see what types of food that they are choosing to buy, and I see how confusing it is to know what foods to eat and what foods to avoid. I see how expensive it is, and I see people struggling to afford to eat. I see people having to pick the unhealthy food because it's cheaper. We have free food just outside our doors, and it would be so cool if we knew how to eat it. Wild Foods Field Guide and Cookbook is a great place to begin and provides a nice overview of the start-to-finish process of gathering one's own food from the wild. It won't make you an expert, but it's a great place to start.